Alright, we've got some new parts today. Got some leaf springs and some U-bolts, some new hubs, bearings. I'm going to reuse the old axles because they're good as, nice and strong. I got some new stub axles welded on, and let's get into this. Today I'm going to be painting all around the stubs, all around these things. Trying not to get any paint on this surface. This is where the bearings will be sitting inside the hubs. So we'll paint these. Yesterday I built the undercarriage for the trailer, the subframe, and painted it. So that's ready to bolt on, and then the leaf springs can go on, and then the axles can go on. So a wee bit of a mish today, but that's all good. See how it's coming out the top over here? It's pushing out through, so you just feed it in. I always use the palm of my hand down here and just push it in until it starts coming out through the top. You can see it down in there, and then you know you've packed the bearing. So when you're putting these on, back bearing goes in, the big bearing goes in the back. The small bearing over there goes in the front. And then we've got to put a seal in. And the seal, this housing here is going to press into the top of the bearing, and then the seal sits in there like that. And these seals kind of like compress. You can kind of see it compressing a wee bit, and it sits up against this plate, this wee washer, which kind of sits right up against that step, so they kind of press in. We'll see how we go here. I'm going to press this wee plate in. Now I just use a big socket, about the same size as that upper lip, and we'll just fucking smack that in and see what happens. You'll notice how the seal in there's pushing over the shaft and sliding in up to that plate. Alright, so that seal, metal big washer's placed into there. Bit of grease around the seal. Bit of grease around the seal. That sits in there. And then Mr. Washer goes on top like that. Come over to the stub. I tend to put these washers up here a wee bit. Let's just sit up there a wee bit. Put that onto there. I'm going to come over here, grab a little, the small bearing. Set onto there. And then washer. And nut. Washer there. Nut. And you can see the seal sitting on that step. So as we start tightening this up, the seal will just pop over that. We can turn this a wee bit. And there we have it there. what I do is just do it up very tight, and what that does is it seats the bearings, so the bearings are at their kind of perfect spot. And then I'll just back it off, turn this a couple of times to kind of just make sure they're all that's nice and tight, and then I'll just back it off. Now it's back to reasonably loose. It's still a little bit stiff, but that's to be expected. All right, two down, those two to go over there, and then we'll get back to you. So these are the subframe that I made. Leaf springs, double leaf springs on the top, and then this bolts to the trailer underneath. It came out pretty good. Pretty happy with it. All sealed and primed. So let's get these installed, and then we can put the leaf springs in. So these are the rockers that go between the two leaf springs. So the front one rests on there, and then the back one, the eye, goes onto there, and this was able to move. And they're locked off with lock nuts. Locked off with nolithane lock nuts. So these have got wee teeth under there. So when you push them through, you actually smack that through so the teeth dig in, and then we do up the nut. All right, so we've got all the new stuff back in. You can see in there, new leaf springs, new hangers, new subframe. And the last thing to do is I'm going to replace this block. It's got some cracks all around it. So I've got a new one sitting here. So we'll stick that on, eh? well team, that completes that job. The boat's back on the trailer. Bit of a mish to get it back on, but everything seems to be good, and took it for a wee drive and it looks pretty good, so happy with that. Also, big thank you for your support. I just hit 1,000 subscribers, so that's awesome. Thank you very much. Cheers.